it's time for my contribution to this evening, and that is to talk about this wonderfully weird woman I get to call family. Hello, Grandma. Oh, you're not leaving. I'm sorry, we have to wait for Phyllis. Oh, hi. I'm going to talk about your family and then a little bit about you as your wonderfully sassy self. So, what are you doing?
That's your Uncle Darren, honey.
My Uncle Darren, everybody. Don't touch the line. Is there anybody else?
Just me.
Just you. Of course it's just you. That's great. Anywho. So, Big Phil here. Can I call you Big Phil? Big Phil here was born in Chicago in 1931. I know. It was just her and her mom for the first several years of her life until her mom met her stepfather, George Suka. The two of them got married and had two boys, Phyllis's half-brothers. Bob, who sadly passed away a few years ago, and Gary, who lives in Wisconsin with his family. When Phyllis was in high school, she met my grandfather, George Shaw, and they got married in 1951. I never had the honor of meeting him, but I hear he was quite the character. I mean, he'd have to be, because, I did hear an interesting story, though, that I'm going to share with you about the two of them. In your centerpieces, you will notice a box of Cracker Jacks. Yes, it fits with the theme, but it has other significance to Phyllis and George. One day, they were driving, and Phyllis looked to George and said, "You know, we've been dating an awfully long time. I think one of us deserves a medal." It's true. He said, "You know, I don't have a medal, but I do have this." And he handed her a box of Cracker Jacks. And when she opened, he had placed an engagement ring inside. And of course, the rest is history. Phyllis and George have 5 children: Dave, Debbie, Doug, Diane, and Darren. Yes, they all start with D. Yes, that's really confusing, and yes, at some point in all of their lives, they have been called "damn it" instead of their real name. Those 5 kids are married to give Phyllis 5 children in love. They all have kids for a collective 24 grandchildren, 12 of whom are married, 12 grandchildren in love. And for some reason, they just keep it going. So there are 24 great-grandchildren and 1 more on the way. Yeah, there's a lot of us. The Shaw clan could populate a small village, as Phyllis would say. So you can imagine, our family events are a little chaotic, to be polite. For example, Grandma, in keeping with the birthday theme, you love your children. And when they reach a milestone birthday, you have to celebrate. I think Uncle Dave probably got off the easiest. You see, Grandma threw him in the surprise party, and that's nice. But she made sure to throw it at his house, so he and Aunt Bonnie had to clean it up, and she could just go home. That was so nice. Aunt Debbie, for her 50th, all of her guests got very colorful monkey hats with ears and tails and the whole 9 yards, and that's great. Except when people turned them around backwards and the tail was in the front, it became a little bit obscene. So that's not weird. It's not your fault. Just know that you did that. Mom, for her 50th, was surprised with a full-on sink and swing production. And that is great. Except for the fact that Grandma invited all of Mom's friends and coworkers who had no idea what my mom did with her spare time. We're not going to talk about how many of them still talk to her, because it's not that many. Uncle Darren, for his 40th, had a party in New Hampshire, where he lives. So Grandma packed 2 suitcases. No, the second one was not full of shoes. It was full of Groucho Marx noses. Because what the hell not? No idea. I don't know. And she passed them out at the party, where his entire congregation of the church he was pastoring at the time was in attendance. Explain that one on a Sunday morning. Oh, it's just Mom, because that's not weird. So, yes, Phyllis's family, we are strange, but we are proud. And we are just one ring in Phyllis's circus of a life. The second ring is made up by the rest of you fine folks, her friends. You saintly individuals who are here still. You see, a lot of you, I'm sure, might have not necessarily volunteered for such a friendship. Some of you may even be wishing to escape. Call me, we meet on Tuesdays. Just kidding. Anyway, so you're here, and it's because you know that Phyllis loves you, and you love her back. And you know that she loves you because she dresses you up in costumes and barks orders at you for 3 months while you bring one of her twisted visions to life. Grandma, if I had a quarter for every time you sassed one of these fine folks, in or out of rehearsal, I would be rich. A quarter. Like, not that much. So, truly, I touched on some of your less proud moments 5 years ago, and so, of course, I'm going to do it again. By a show of hands, who in this room has ever put on a dress or a skirt for Phyllis? Come on, let's see them. All right, now just the men. Yeah, see, Phyl dear, that is what the State Department would call evidence in a case against your sanity. You know what else isn't going to help? Your costumes. Yeah, they're a bit risque, most of them. Some of them quite weird, and we just won't talk about them. But the volume, like you have so many. Your garage is so full. Your shelves have been reinforced not once, not even twice, several times. And that wasn't even enough, because all of those items have migrated into your house, into your workshop. Oh, I'm sorry, what workshop? You see, it used to be Phyllis's guest room, but who likes guests, right? For the record, that's really awkward to say to a room full of 100 of your guests, but we're just going to move on. Yes, I suppose, though, the sheer volume of costumes and props and cutlery and all sorts of things you save is just proof of your dedication to your craft. I said craft. It was an FT, not a P, I promise. And in fact, it's been going on for quite some time, because Phyllis's third reign hasn't been active for a while, but before she had forced friendships, she had co-workers. Big Phyl here was the head bookkeeper at Broward County Courthouse, and when she wasn't busy checking the computer's calculations against her handwritten ledgers, you know, because Phyllis is never wrong, she was busy convincing her co-workers to dress up and put on shows, and they were the courthouse cut-ups. Clutter. Yes, several members of the judicial system have been put in chicken suits and trash bags, and you call them raisinets, because you're crazy. But we forgive you, and that is because, obviously, the reason we're here, you're really old. Like, 80 to 85. Do you know how old 85 is? Oh, you don't? Well, that's perfect. Because I have a list to help explain. Yes, that's been there the whole time. So, Big Phyl, 1931, you were born. Do you know who else was born? Robert Duvall, James Dean, Toni Morrison, Ian Holm, James Earl Jones. Grandma, that's Darth Vader. Do you know Darth Vader? No? Okay. So hopefully that means you're a Trekkie, because both William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy were born in 1931. You don't know what this means either. Okay. Mickey Mantle. Do you know that one? Mickey Mantle? No? Cool. All right, so let's move on. What else happened in 1931? Do you know that the Star-Spangled Banner was chosen as our national anthem in 1931? You're as old as our national anthem. You know what else happened? While gambling did take place in Vegas prior to your birth, it wasn't legalized until 1931. So legally, I can say you're as old as the Vegas Strip. That's been there forever. You know, okay, so I started to make a list of everything electronic that's been invented in the last 85 years. And it was just easier to make a list of everything that hasn't, that was like before you, and that's light bulbs and radio. the internet, which is where I got all of my information. Instant coffee, ballpoint pens, helicopters, lithium batteries, the Richter scale? Golf carts, you'll appreciate. Shopping carts, parking meters, Phillips head screws, and their driver counterparts. Beach balls, soft serve ice cream, deodorant, thank God. Coolers, barcodes, WD-40, Ziploc baggies, TV dinners, bubble wrap, and... Huh. I wonder how this got on here. Grandma, did you know that nicotine patches were invented? It's totally a thing. It is. And for all you athletic types, snowboarding, racquetball, and paintball. So, there you have it. Grandma, you're old, but we love you because you're sassy and you're sweet, and everybody knows your name. You're like cheers personified. Okay, well, the look on your face is telling me that I'm done. So we're gonna get to the real entertainment this evening. 5 years ago, we showcased our family's hidden talents right here on the stage. Yes. And we're gonna do that again. So first up, we have Phyllis's granddaughter, Lily, to sing us a song.